Okay, good morning, students. This is a continuation class of the previous class. So, previous class we have discussed about drug antagonism. What are the types of drug antagonism? And especially we have concentrated on what is pharmacological antagonism or receptor antagonism. So, before going into the experiment today, let us discuss just in brief about what is a normal dose response curve and what is a log dose response curve. So that has already been taught by Dr. Sarika. So little and brief, very little. So this is a plain dose response curve. So here you see that we can get graded responses by increasing the concentration of the drug which you are giving. As you increase the concentration of the drug, you see that there is an increase in the contraction of the muscle. So as this goes on, finally you find that there is a ceiling effect. So that is, what is ceiling effect is, there is no more increase in response even when there is an increase in the dose concentration. Or you can see that the maximal response. So that is what we call the ceiling effect, and the dose that produces the ceiling effect is called as the ceiling dose. See, listen to this class carefully. It will help you a lot in your next assessment. So most of your questions will be from the class today. So please listen carefully. So now you see that the maximum response that is elicited is called as the ceiling effect, and the dose that produces the ceiling effect is called as the ceiling dose. So here the ceiling dose is 64 microgram. So after that, even if you increase the concentration, even if you make it 128 micrograms, what happens? Either there is a similar response or there will be a decrease in the response. So this we call it as the supramaximal response. See here, the maximal response or the ceiling effect. And the next, with further increase in the dose, the response you get is called as the supramaximal response. So that will be either a response that is similar to the ceiling effect or a slightly decrease in response than the ceiling effect. That is what we call as the supramaximal response. So what is important here is the ceiling effect, that is the maximum response that can be obtained even when the dose is further increased, or there is no more increase in the response even when the concentration of the drug is increased. That is what we call as the ceiling effect. So this is a normal dose response curve. So next will be a log dose response curve. So how do you get a log dose response curve is, so you take x-axis and y-axis. See, this is an interpretation of the log dose response curve. So how do you interpret a log dose response curve, and what are the advantages of a log dose response curve over a normal dose response curve? So if you see the log dose response curve, you see that there is x-axis and y-axis. On the x-axis, you have to plot the log drug dose, log dose concentration of the drug. See here, you're taking concentration 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. So you have to take a log value of this particular dose and you have to plot it on the x-axis. I'll explain it to you again in the experiment. So this is just in brief. So you have to plot the log values of the concentration of the drug which you have used. And then, so you give that particular dose of the drug and you see the response. So the response you plot it on the y-axis. On the x-axis you plot log values of the concentration of the drug you're taking. So then we can see that when you plot a graph, you get a sigmoid curve. So log dose response curve is a sigmoid S-shaped curve. So what is the advantage of a log dose response curve over a plain response curve. Plain dose response curve is, so you can compare curves between two drugs, yes, and you can plot a number of doses, and also you can compare the potency of the drug, efficacy of the drug between two drugs. So you want to find out which drug is more potent or which drug has more efficacy. So that can be easily compared in a log dose response curve, which you cannot do in the plain dose response curve. And you can also calculate the therapeutic index. Then one more is you can differentiate between competitive and non-competitive antagonism. See, in the last class, I have shown you the log dose response curves of competitive, reversible competitive antagonism, irreversible competitive antagonism. So there we could compare the potency between the sigmoid curves. You can compare the potency of the drug which is used. Okay. So here if you see drug A and drug B, so that particular curve which is placed closer to the y-axis is more potent, and the height of the curve indicates the efficacy of the drug. See, when you compare A and B, the curve, the drug A has produced a sigmoid curve which is closer to the y-axis, and the curve for the drug B is a little farther from the y-axis. So you can say that drug A is more potent than drug B, okay? Or if you want to say about drug B, it will be drug B is less potent when compared to drug A. Then on the y-axis, what do you plot as the response? And the height of the curve indicates the efficacy of the drug. So now again you can compare which drug is more efficacious, either drug A or drug B. So drug B, the curve for drug B is higher than the curve for drug A. So here you say that drug B is more efficacious, or efficacy of drug B is more when compared to drug A. And when you want to speak about drug A, you say drug A has less efficacy when compared to drug B, because the height of the curve is less for drug A. So this is how you interpret the log dose response curve. So again, what are the advantages of log dose response curve is important, and interpretation is important. So then coming to the experiment today. So this is the same title which I have taken in the last class. So effect of atropine on the DRC of acetylcholine on rat ileum. So in your record, you have to start writing from here. So the title of the experiment will be this: effect of atropine on the DRC of acetylcholine on rat ileum. See, we are not doing spoon feeding here. We are not giving the entire notes. Some part of it is given. The discussion part you have to write from the classes which were taken from the last class and this class. You have to listen to the class and write the discussion part. Rest of it is given here. You can copy it from here. So what is the aim of the experiment? The aim of the experiment is to demonstrate the presence of atropine in the physiological solution causes rightward shift of the log dose response curve of ACH on rat ileum. See, if you plot the log dose response curve of ACH on rat ileum, you will get a sigmoid shaped curve. Then again, when you're giving atropine before giving a dose of acetylcholine, what happens? There is an increase in the requirement of dose of acetylcholine. So there will be a parallel rightward shift of the log dose response curve of acetylcholine. So that is what is explained here to demonstrate that presence of atropine in the physiological solution. See, here atropine is an antagonist. So presence of atropine in the physiological solution causes rightward shift of the log dose response curve of ACH on rat ileum. We will see that later. Then what are the equipment required? Equipment required are tissue, rat ileum. Then we have the drugs which we use are acetylcholine and atropine, and computer assisted learning. So here the procedure will be, since this is being done in a CAL software, using a CAL software in our systems. So you say that the present experiment was carried out in animal software and the following steps were performed. So first you open the software and then you choose which experiment you want to do. So you choose that experiment, effect of atropine on the DRC of acetylcholine on rat ileum. Okay. Then what do? In the first phase you plot the dose response curve of only acetylcholine. That is in the absence of atropine. In the first phase, dose response curve of ACH was recorded on rat ileum at different doses. Then in the second phase, you plot the same dose response curve of ACH on rat ileum at different doses in the presence of atropine. So how does the presence of atropine affect the dose response curve of ACH? We will see that. So this is your observation table. So you have to prepare 3 stock solutions, okay? So that one stock solution should contain concentration of ACH 50 microgram per ml. Then the next stock solution should contain 100 microgram per ml of ACH. Then the third stock solution should contain 200 microgram per ml. So you have prepared a stock solution, say about 1 liter. You have prepared a stock solution and kept aside about 1 liter. So what is the concentration of acetylcholine in that particular solution? If you take 1 ml of that solution, in that what will be the concentration of acetylcholine? 50 micrograms. In 1 ml of your stock solution, there will be 50 microgram of acetylcholine. So that is what is written here. Concentration of acetylcholine in the stock solution which you have prepared. So that will be 50 microgram per ml. So now how much amount of that solution, stock solution, you are adding to the organ bath? So you are adding 0.05 ml of the stock solution to the organ bath. And then you will plot the response of acetylcholine on the rat ileum. How much the rat ileum is contracting to the acetylcholine. See, acetylcholine is a parasympathomimetic. So it will increase the contractility of the rat ileum. So if you see the graph, see this will be the first dose. See, you are taking 0.05 ml of ACH. Okay, you are taking it from a stock solution which has 50 microgram per ml of ACH. So that is why 50 is written here. In that stock solution, you are taking only 0.05 ml of that stock solution. So for that ml, what is the response seen? 3 mm response is seen. Okay. So now then you plot it here again in your observation table, where response in mm you plot 3 here. 0.05 ml of ACH has produced a response of 3 mm. So on it will be, you will be putting increasing doses 0.1, 0.2, 0.4, 0.8. Okay. Then 0.8 ml from the stock solution which has 100 microgram per ml of ACH. So till now it was 50 microgram per ml of ACH in the stock solution. Now it will be 100 microgram per ml of ACH. So that particular stock solution will have 100 microgram of ACH per each ml. Okay. So from that stock solution you will take 0.8 ml. So this 0.8, the previous 0.8 ml was taken from stock solution which has 50 microgram of ACH per ml. So now you keep on increasing the doses and you see the increase in the response. See the graph again. So 0.1 ml produced 7 mm response, 0.2 ml produced 24 mm, 0.4 produced 39, 0.8 produced 52, then 0.8 ml from the 100 microgram per ml stock solution, it produced a 55 mm response, and that is the maximum response. So that we call it as the ceiling effect, and this particular dose is called as the ceiling dose. And with further increase in the dose, it was the same height. So this is what we call as the supramaximal response. So this particular graph is in the absence of atropine. So now you do the next graph. Now you stop the experiment here. Then again you start plotting. You take the same concentration of ACH, but before giving ACH, you give atropine. You give a dose of atropine, and then you start giving the same concentrations of ACH. It will be the same doses. Now then again you will plot the response. So here see, for the same 0.05 ml of ACH which has produced 3 mm response before, it is nil response here because you have given the competitive antagonist atropine. Okay. So now when you increase the dose of ACH 0.1 mm, you can see that there will be 3 mm response. It was 7 mm here. So as you increase the dose, you see that the maximal response is 54 mm. Okay, that is the sealing effect. That is the maximum response which can be produced by 0.08 ml of ACH. Now this 0.8 ml has been taken from the stock solution which has 200 microgram of ACH per ml. Okay. So here you've seen that the maximal response has decreased a little. It was 55 mm without atropine, and with atropine it is 54 mm. Now you can see that in the presence of atropine, there is a decrease in the contractility of the rat ileum. So this indicates that atropine is a competitive antagonist of ACH. See, you plotted the responses in the presence of atropine here. Okay. So now what is this column? I will explain it to you now. So till now we have seen that taking this ml of solution has produced this response in the absence of atropine, and this particular response is in the presence of atropine. So till now you have plotted the normal dose response curve. So what you should do next? So you should plot a log dose response curve, and you should see the log dose shift in the log dose response curve in the presence of atropine. So for that, you need to calculate the log values. So before calculating the log values, you should know how much amount of acetylcholine is present in 0.05 ml of the solution which you have taken. So if you see in the stock solution, you know that each ml of the stock solution has 50 microgram of ACH. So now 0.05 ml of that stock solution will have how much concentration of ACH. Now you should cross multiply. 1 ml has 50 microgram. Then 0.05 ml has how many micrograms? You take it as X and then you cross multiply. So that is basic maths. So you cross multiply and see. So now that X value which you get will be 2.5. Okay, calculate and see in your notebooks. 1 ml of ACH will give has 50 microgram. Sorry, 1 ml of the stock solution has 50 microgram of ACH. Then 0.05 ml of stock solution has how much? If you calculate, that value will be 2.5 microgram. So now for these particular ml doses, you will get the concentration of ACH. For 0.05 ml, it is 2.5 microgram. 0.1 ml, it is 5 microgram of ACH, and so on. So now what you have to do with these doses, you have to calculate the log value of 2.5, 5, 10, 20, 40, 80 and 160. You have to calculate the log values of these doses and plot these log values on the x-axis of the log dose response curve. So now let us go to the log dose response curve. See, these particular values, you don't be confused again and thinking that what are these values. So these values 0.39, 0.69, these are log values of the concentration which we have calculated now. 0.05 ml of stock solution has 2.5 microgram of ACH. So log value of the 2.5 microgram will be 0.39. The log value for the next dose will be 0.69. Next dose will be 1 and so on. Okay. So now then you will plot the response. See here I have taken the response in mm on y-axis. Otherwise if you want you can even plot the percent response. That will come in your CAL software, percent response. So because we don't have the software now, so you can plot the response in mm on the y-axis. So we have seen that the maximum response we got is 55 mm. So in order to plot that I have taken an interval of 10 mm. So it will be 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 and 60. So now for this particular, see here, 2.5 microgram of ACH has produced a 3 mm response in the absence and 0 mm response in the presence of atropine. So now you plot, first you plot in the absence of atropine, and then you plot the log dose response curve in the presence of atropine. So it is difficult to explain here. So please concentrate since we don't have a blackboard here. 2.5 microgram, you have calculated the log value for 2.5 microgram. Okay. So now you plotted the log value here. You plotted the log value here. You've taken 0.39 here. Okay. So now you plot the 3 mm response. See, this first curve is in the absence of atropine. Then this dotted line is the log dose response curve in the presence of atropine. So for the first log value, you've seen 3 mm response, then the next response, then the next response. So you plot the responses like this and you join the dots. Then again, for the same concentration, you will plot the response in the presence of atropine. So you've seen that for the first dose, the response was 0. Okay, so I've started it here. For the second one, at the first dose, it will be 0 mm. So the first dot will be here, the next dot here, and so on. And then you will again join it with a dotted line. Okay, so now you see here that if you see the log dose response curve, there is a parallel rightward shift of the log dose response curve. In the there is a parallel rightward shift for the log dose response curve in the presence of atropine. See here, so this is a parallel rightward shift. Okay, from here till here, it's a parallel rightward shift. So what does this indicate? Now here you see that the response is to attain the same maximal response in the presence of an antagonist, you need to increase the concentration of ACH. Okay. See, the response has started from here. So you need a increase in so much concentration to produce a same maximal response. So there is a parallel rightward shift of the DRC. So if someone asks you why there is a parallel rightward shift in the DRC, you say that because we've given a competitive antagonist like atropine, we need to give an increased concentration of ACH to produce the same maximal response. So that is why we see that there is a parallel rightward shift of the log dose response curve. So this is it. So this is about the log dose response curve. So next comes your discussion. So what all you have to write. So till here, you can just copy down whatever is discussed till now. Now in discussion part, you will go through the previous class and then write about what is drug antagonism, what are the types of drug antagonism, and write in detail about what is pharmacological antagonism, write the graphs, write the types of pharmacological antagonism, then draw the log dose curves for that, explain them, then explain the graphs which you have drawn here. After the observation table, you have drawn graphs. So explain the graphs and then explain about the log dose response curve. So it is nothing difficult. Go through the videos. Videos are being uploaded. So go through the videos, go through the previous video, go through this video and write the discussion part. Okay. The next class will be your conclusion. So what is the conclusion? In the presence of atropine, the DRC of acetylcholine is shifted towards right. So in other words, to produce the same maximal response of acetylcholine, in the presence of atropine, we need to increase the dose of acetylcholine. Okay. So this indicates that atropine is a competitive antagonist of acetylcholine. So hope this is clear. Please go through the experiment again, get a full clarity on this and then start writing in your record. Don't write mistakes. Go through the video very carefully and then we want everything to be right. Whatever you write in your record, it should be right. Okay. Thank you.